As I've been preparing you in our steps thus far into a XANDRIA history survey that we're taking together, Call of Destiny in context to Theater of Dimensions is the only number we'll be humoring by the Reintroduction terminology, as I call it, being a familiarized listen, where all the other pieces operate by fresh impression, witness, encounter. All of those pieces I've not humored yet, and we're exploring together on first introduction status for a developing XANDRIA listener, speaking of myself. And maybe you fit that parallel situation and vantage point as well. I don't know. Again, I welcome anybody here in terms of XANDRIA familiarity and viewpoint extreme, whether you're longtime fans, and I know many of you will advance me, or developing or initiate listeners. I want you to feel at home here with really any artist we consider in the music consultation space that we enjoy collaboratively, which I find naturally enriches the experience of taking music in on our own personal enjoyments. And with any credit we've recognized here to any piece, any artist, I've liked everything we've showcased. XANDRIA, no exception, in any era I've examined. And we're in the midst of, again, of a larger survey of their history from earlier eras past their present day footing, with the wonder still awaiting of what introduced me via the Vuvahi's vocal leadership, but going back to specifically Manuela Craler in the past with a selection of pieces off of Neverworld's End, and now sitting in the midst of a Diana von Giersbergen run-through in her time with the group. Again, each era I like, and I know there's a bit of a diversity in terms of perspective of what XANDRIA fan prefers which in particular, I know. I think we can all agree, though I love all three, Diana really was a standout and a great attribution to the group, again, a symphonic metal and power metal natural intrusion, but a symphonic metal prowess chiefly. I love what we've been introduced to together. Whether it be on a full run-through of Sacrificium and an evolving full run-through based on just the first three numbers we've welcomed with 4 more to go off of the 2015 Fire and Ashes EP, and now wading into the entirety of Theater of Dimensions, with a near entirety, considering at least the original numbers, the first 13 entries on the album. This is proving to be quite a great retreat thus far, and I've been quite excited to go into Call of Destiny. Again, a familiarized listen I've given a number of times now, similar energy and experience to what I had with Nightfall. As excited as I was to approach that piece, and again to enjoy it collaboratively with you and to set our path right with XANDRIA. Call of Destiny, we're developing it with a number that is, I think, quite strong. Cinematically, certainly, but again, amplified now with what I know in direction and on philosophy of Theater of Dimensions intention. I had no clue before proceeding into it yesterday, in fact, when I read about it, that this is a conceptual album, and you know I like those, and so far it's materializing beautifully with a real unity expressed between numbers. Seeing how Call of Destiny is foretold by Forsaken Love, specifically on the last chorus refrain key switch, and I would say rhythm as well, it's a good mimicry to where Call of Destiny will amplify the energy from, so far, 2 numbers that have definitely dipped a more drastic footing into a softer veneer. It's going to kick things up with a really upbeat and engaging rhythm. I love this number. It's so positive. Plus, we have a visualizer we're returning to. Rather light in XANDRIA's history amidst, again, the Diana window, but there's a couple more, I think, for this album in particular compared to Sacrificium, like double the amount. That'll be a fun experience to add on, right? XANDRIA visualizers are always entertaining, and Call of Destiny is a great picture to the album, I think. A beautiful aid to a wonderful song that we're going to welcome again for me and familiarized graces, but for you, perhaps fresh introduction. And if so, you're in for quite a rewarding experience, I would say. Though again, music is very much a subjective, experience, however we take it in. And I would recommend, if this is an initiation approach for you, that you do humor those first 3 numbers, and you will see for yourself the even tracking into this posed by Forsaken Love. It's, I'm telling you, a complete unity between voice of numbers. Though, Call of Destiny is going to stretch us back into that original tone of what set us off and what's familiarized to me on first entrance with XANDRIA, that rougher back end. Again, real versatility of symphonic metal is part of the reason I love it so much, but atmospheric listens and beautiful vocal capability on part of Diana. Maybe, again, this will be your welcome entrance to her. Though, again, I recommend those first 3 numbers in advance, but if you're choosing to step in here, of course, that's your determination. If so, I think Diana will be quite the welcome encounter for you. And speaking of her quality and performance, we've seen a window of this briefly with, I would say, so far, Nightfall for sure, and Voyage of the Fallen. But again, the visualizers that have featured her in a performance aesthetic specifically, or any of the live numbers you might have watched on recording, I myself have explored quite a bit. She is an incredibly engaging performer, not just vocally. Her aptitude, again, on a spinto soprano extreme, and there's some real vocal heights here of a natural vibrato that I love experiencing. Any re-listen I give this piece, it's so nice, finely tuned, precise, really falling into her own role here. As she's been from the start of XANDRIA, she really is a standout. But Speaking of performance quality, you can tell how engaged and passionate she is about her craftsmanship and her execution. I'm telling you, there's just something really engaging whenever you get to set foot with a group and experience, again, I know it's not the same as like a live performance, but you still get a bit of a connection that fostered within a music video. You really get it with Diana. When you witness her movements, her posture, coupled with her vocal delivery, there's something really special about her that we, of course, are in the midst of not just as XANDRIA deep dive in their history, but as well initiating with a Diana von Giersbergen journey, which will develop further. Again, I love my operatic metal favorites in the European stock for sure, and there's many to credit, but Diana is one of the latest the latest attribution, in fact, and we will be taking extensive looks at her work since departing with XANDRIA, or maybe in the midst of, noting Ex Libris or Diana, her solo project. I'm really looking forward to getting to those two entries. I'm so excited for that, and some of her collaborative work. I've been looking toward this road for months now of a Diana von Giersbergen deep dive journey that we're now taking together and developing towards, with the first chapter being XANDRIA, now entertaining Call of Destiny. After this, again, we'll return to fresh experiences, but based on familiarized encounter, I'm just telling you in advance, you are in for a fun experience if you have not yet witnessed Call of Destiny. I am sure that every XANDRIA fan, I don't want to speak for you, but anyone who already knows the song would probably agree with me on that. It is a fun number. Quite adventurous, too. You'll see. Perfect pair, by the way, between choir vocals and Diana's voice. Even syncopation, too. And speaking of symphonic metal extremes, power metal riff dynamics, heavy backing, operatic vocals, and synths. And it all feels well married, doesn't it? It's amazing to me. Any direction she goes, again, her voice is any point of emphasis, pronouncement on every word, it's just so intricate. I love when she hits those lower resonances on the notes, man. This one definitely feels individual thus far in our run through the album. Fun peppiness. Whether it's the synths or the vocals killing it, it's so deliberate. God, I love her vocal extremes. There's no way to get through this without grinning. Whether you love or despise opera, you have to respect prowess. I happen to be quite enamored by it, but man, every time. Such a respect. And again, such even shifts tonally. Familiarized field of XANDRIA's strengths demonstrated by this number, but again, sufficient intermixing to create something that does feel like a defined mixture of styles. Expansive versatility. Every section of a song develops so well. Man.
This is the moment, my redemption. This is the day that all the stars align.
I love the way the notes float right, just along perfectly with her voice. It's such an even stream. Whatever range she's hitting. It's such an advanced performance. As I said, I love any era of what we explored together of XANDRIA's offerings, but there's something I really miss in terms of quality with Diana's presence. There's just something so beautiful about the interaction between the way the scores are designed paired with her voice. Call of Destiny really is a fun number. Again, quite specialized, I think, on focus. And I'm sure there are other entries within the conceptual thread of Theater of Dimensions that are going to speak to, again, individuality of craftsmanship between different works. But Call of Destiny really demonstrates an adventurism and real strengths, again, on symphonic and other types of metal genre blendings. Real synonymy, again, with XANDRIA's execution. Consider exactly the symphonic deliberancy. Right, certainly on the way the numbers are designed and that cinematic backing, which just does not lose in any way. It's beautifully retained. Evolved, though, at least on presentation, paired with the power metal riffs, key synth influence. Again, an even matching between classic and modern music extremes. Perfectly tapped into it, a lovely bridge formed. Easy to see and notice and regard. Quite an appreciative number. The way it's carried, though, not just... Any way you examine it, whether you look at the score and the way it leads the piece, especially on, again, the harder riff to it, the pace. Fun design, though. Again, those synths add this individual quality of peppiness to it that makes it such a positive number on experience. I did mull over, by the way. Every time I witness this, and this is more to the credit of respect with the vocals and the performance from Diana, I try to get through this with the seriousness of expression it deserves, but I end up... and you saw it, I do break face and get into little giggle chapters. That's what happens every time I enter the graces of this number, and I think part of it is because of the vocal reaches, plus the performance and the seriousness of how devoted it is, and how endearing of it in capturing a vision it happens to be. Of an experience, right? Again, like I said, with visualizers, and oftentimes in the European Metal Library, you get this, that feeling of connection you want with artists, where you've not been to a live show, but you hope for one day. I had one opportunity that I missed recently, with XANDRIA as well. They were I believe, one of the openers. I think they were the first, again, in present standing, but it would have been cool to see Diana live had I known about them again back then, but I wasn't aware of XANDRIA. Through our experiences together, though, in a self-led deep dive journey into European metal with plenty of recommendations in my comment section, I've learned so many great names like them. Though, actually, to credit XANDRIA, the bridge was through Amber Vuvrihis's collaboration of Mortemia. That's how I found out about them in the beginning, and plus one comment, but, I wish I had come across these guys sooner, especially in the midst of Diana's membership. This truly was a golden year, I think, golden couple of years, at least as far as the album was sitting in. This really was such a special time, I think, in their history. This season, with Diana's involvement, vocally speaking, she was just an incredible benefit to the group. And again, the score stands on itself, but on part of every member. That's what I found. And certainly the percussion aid works really here again with the backing, the riff structures, that guitar solo break too on the instrumental area of the number, going into, I think, the last pre-chorus or development towards that. Real defined metal personality, which puts an even pairing of, I would say, many American favorites I know. And again, metal familiarity for, I would say, a general audience. Easy touch. Vocally, though, I love the way that this number's aided on part of development on momentum's factor, both by musical scoring and pace, and vocal balancing, whether it be. And I was tempted to say it was Diana leading this number, but I'm actually going to say it's an equivalency, I think. But she really does advance the number again on direction based on where her vocals go. And this is such a transcendent piece for, again, such swift climbs with beautiful execution. I do wonder, by the way, if it's deliberate. And I've seen this from a couple of our operatic talents in our consultations of European metal, notably of a symphonic origin and stylization. I wonder, and I don't know this, because again, early entrance into the world of opera that I did not know I would like so much when I was a kid, but now I've just fallen madly in love with it as a particular outlet. Is it intentional, the type of performance you get? Something about the quality of physical performance and movement really comes to me as sincere with operatic expression. I don't know what it is specifically, but it's incredibly engaging. Again, the movements aiding the notes as Diana's hitting them perfectly here, and again, the shifts on fluctuation within different vocal extremes, whether it be melodic or again those higher rises, incredibly well modulated. She executes every single note right on nail. It's amazing to me, again, any extreme and the transference from one to another. There's such an even flotation of how we proceed for the number vocally. And the way, though, we carry through it, again, on a harmony, especially on entrance, we're led in by Diana, paired by the choir. Even syncopation married to the instrumental points of emphasis on part of, I believe, the riffs or some of the, I think it was the riffs, not the synths. Those came in a second after. We consider the momentum in review, and we realize that it's led by 3 different extremes simultaneously. Lead vocals, lead instrumental scoring, or backbone instrumental, I should say, and choir. All 3 fall right in company and line of one another and evenly track the song along to its finalized destination. It's an impressive piece. Every listen I gave it, certainly on the first regard of it, I was like, this is such a welcome encounter. And again, I found it quite fun and invigorating because of the general and individualized peppiness. It's a really fun quality for the number to have that does make it stand out apart from the first 3 songs. And we'll see if that feeling will continue into later releases. Going into, I've heard that the next one's pretty hard. So the change of emphasis and advancement again on rhythm and harder support befits again, there's a unity in how we proceed through this conceptual vision. We Are Murderers, I have heard, is quite a harsh number. So it's paved well. We'll see maybe on key how it floats, but a natural synonymy and bridge. Each entry we give a listen to via Theater of Dimensions. Call of Destiny, no different. And not to ignore them, by the way. Lyrics, quite capable. Again, I would say contemporary and relatable concept that, again, could be well married to the score, to the vision of the group and where they're going thematically, broadly speaking, but it is generalized enough that you could take the approach and make it apply naturally for yourself. It's a great story. Call of Destiny, again, I love the name, a very relatable journey, explored adeptly with XANDRIA to every extreme. Again, it's such a dense number the more I even think about it. And experiencing it with you, I'm seeing different layers I've not noticed before. Notably, again, the momentum factor of 3 different extremes all falling right in line. It's an incredible piece of a lot of density. I welcome it, though, as another beautiful entry on Theater of Dimensions that we're taking together, though, again, the only point that we approach from a reintroduction status. And as we depart from it, we return to the fresh experience model that we're taking together for a full album sweep. But I would love to hear, as you experience Call of Destiny for yourself, and again, from whatever angle you happen to adopt here, longtime fan or initiate listener or developing like me, what do you think and approach of it? As I said, capability of Theater of Dimensions is definitely made clear with Call of Destiny specifically. I've come to it quite often. It doesn't just help that, again, you have a fun visualizer to aid the performance well. Whether it be, again, on the loose story or specifically the band, there's something quite endearing about this one in particular, but the quality of the number and the depth of it. XANDRIA truly has, again, a mastery of presence, at least in my opinion, within whatever era we examine in the symphonic metal footing. Well regarded, deservedly. Call of Destiny is a great testament to that in just specific focus of how much it weaves in as a piece. There's a lot of layers to examine with such a capable number that is quite transcendent, atmospheric, and really defines the legacy of memory with XANDRIA going forward. Certainly, again, the time spent with Diana in vocal capability. She truly is an impressive singer in every respect, her range. And again, the way that her voice floats to so many different extremes, so precisely, every note of high quality and even nailing, precise, direct presence. I really do like the midst of the era we're sitting in with XANDRIA. In our history deep dive, again, I like all 3 that we've studied together, to whatever extreme, but Diana's really stands out in my mind. And I'm sure many of you would cite Call of Destiny as a particular entrance as to why you like this era so much. It truly is quite a capable number, beautifully advanced, and quite welcome. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.